5, Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Thursday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us on a night, well, there is a lot of news going on all over the sports world. There is absolutely no question about that. A lot to get into. The NFL preseason has kicked off. There's already been a couple of significant injuries in the NFL world today, including a couple right here in the AFC South that we will get to. The Jaguar head coach, Liam Cohen, has made a decision on the playing status of all his guys for Saturday night. We'll tell you about that. The Steelers roll in for a 7 o'clock kick on Saturday night. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM with pregame coverage beginning at 4 o'clock. And I want to get into how great the honeymoon phase has been here in Jacksonville for the last 6.5 months, roughly, because the honeymoon phase may be coming to an end pretty soon. We'll talk about that in just one moment. Guest lineup tonight looks like this. My Jaguar training camp one-on-one from earlier today at the Miller Electric Center is with third-year defensive back Antonio Johnson. How about Antonio? Third year in the league, his third different defensive coordinator. We'll talk about that. We'll certainly talk about Travis Hunter. We'll talk about competing against this Jaguar offense every day. So my conversation with Jaguar DB Antonio Johnson comes up in about 10 minutes or so. Also, Jarrett Bailey of the Sporting News will stop by to preview the Steelers and the Jaguars. Jarrett actually has been at Steeler camp for the last couple of days, so we'll get a Pittsburgh perspective on what is going to transpire here on Saturday night. And I know it's beginning to be fantasy football season. In fact, we'll give another spot away in the Hacker Fantasy League coming up this evening. But with draft season with us in fantasy football, I thought we'd help you with a little draft prep. So my buddy Dave Kluge of footballguys.com will stop by to talk not only a little Jaguar fantasy football, but a league-wide look at fantasy football. Again, Dave Kluge of Football Guys comes up in the 9 o'clock hour. We're absolutely loaded. We're glad you're with us here on Hacker After Dark. Every night on HAD, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
So I mentioned this with Baloo a little earlier there during the 2-minute drill. For most Jaguar fans, not all of you, because I know I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think most Jaguar fans have been pretty happy with this offseason, right? The way it landed with Liam Cohen and James Gladstone and Tony Baselli, the free agents that were brought in, even things like the Logan Cook contract extension, obviously the trade up for Travis Hunter. I think by and large, you ask Jaguar fans, they would give the Jaguars 2 thumbs up about things that have gone on this offseason. Most of you. And I know some of you are driving in your car, Hacker, I hate this and I hate that, and that's fine. Then I'm not speaking for you. But again, just the people I know, the people I interact with, the people I talk to, it's a pretty good sample size. And the people that I've had direct contact with over the last 6 or so months seem to be pretty happy with the way things have transpired. All right. That's the off season. This is what has been the honeymoon portion of Liam Cohen and James Gladstone and Travis Hunter. And I'm out there at practice today, just like I'm out there at practice every day. And it's not as if one single thing happened that gave me this thought. But just talking with some of my colleagues down there, I think Mike DeRocco of ESPN.com was one. Gary Smits of the Times Union was another. We were just, kind of chopping it up back and forth a little bit. Everybody loves the Travis Hunter story. I've told you this week to enjoy the Travis Hunter story. It's a great story. How many fan bases have got to witness their team trading up for the number 2 pick in the draft, taking the Heisman Trophy winner, who, oh, by the way, is going to be the first guy in decades to attempt to play both ways in the National Football League? Whether it works or not, the ride to this point has been outstanding for Jaguar fans. But we are actually about to see it in 1 month's time. In fact, we're going to see a sampling of it Saturday night against Pittsburgh, because Liam Cohen announced that the guys are all going to play, including Travis Hunter, who's going to play on both sides of the football. So my question to you, Jaguar fans, and I know you, I've talked to you on the radio for going on 23 years. I've lived amongst you my entire adult life. I mean, I'm 41 years old. 31 of those years have been spent right here in Jacksonville. I think I got a pretty good feel for the Jaguar fan base. I know what's going to happen, man. If a coverage is blown and it's Travis Hunter's fault, or if a drop happens, look, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Jerry Rice, Randy Moss had drops. Deion Sanders, Charles Woodson, Darrell Green, you name the best corners they've ever played. They all got beat for touchdowns. It's going to happen. There's going to be growing pains with this Travis Hunter experiment on both sides of the football. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody loves it. I love it. I would imagine most of you love it. It has been a great ride for the last 3.5 months. My question is, what is going to happen, say, on September 7th against Carolina, if there's a miscommunication in the secondary and Tet McMillan is left open for a 30-yard touchdown to give Carolina the lead in the first quarter? And then is everybody going to start moaning and groaning about, well, why is he playing both ways? He wasn't ready. He didn't get the assignment. Let's just focus on wide receiver. Are you going to experience growing pains with this football team regarding this Travis Hunter experiment? Or at the first sign of negativity, the first sign of said growing pains, are you going to jump ship and start blaming and finger pointing and this, that, and the other? Here's what I'm telling you to do. We got to go quick here. I'm telling you to experience the growing pains with this organization. This is uncharted water. This is uncharted territory. Growing pains are going to happen. A coverage will be blown. Things will go wrong. Stay the course. Get through the 500 yards of awful-smelling nonsense like Andy Dufresne did in the Shawshank Redemption. And if you're able to get through that, you may come out clean on the other side with this Travis Hunter experiment. No growing pains are coming. Accept that. And don't start finger pointing when they arrive. Can you do that? We'll see. And we'll see probably in just over a month's time. 641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Would love to get your thoughts. Will you experience the growing pains with this team, or will you start getting mad at the first sign of adversity with the Travis Hunter experiment? More on that. We'll give a spot away in the Hacker Fantasy League, and we'll do our Jaguar Training Camp 101. Defensive back Antonio Johnson from earlier today at training camp at the Miller Electric Center. All that's to come on a Thursday night here in the city of Jacksonville. It's Hacker After Dark.
When it comes to your favorite football team, John Osher is oh so sure to find the inside insight to keep you up to date. Wednesdays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Served up by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
The 2025 NFL season is just around the corner, and we can't wait for you to be back at the bank. Your Jacksonville Jaguars are starting off the preseason going head-to-head with the Pittsburgh Steelers Saturday, August 9th. Be at the bank as the Jags take the field for the first time this season, and grab your tickets for a 7 p.m. kickoff by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you soon, Jags fans.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 7th, 2007, Barry Bonds hits home run 756, breaking Hank Aaron's long-standing Major League record.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
Okay, for this Cannons of Jacksonville commercial, we need an idea to really come out with a bang.
Like having a guy shot out of a cannon.
Nah, too messy. In fact, Cannons is known for all your towing needs.
So like my car won't start.
No. Towing products. Cannons does custom welding fabrication and installation of trailer hitches, goosenecks, tow bars, truck racks.
So you might say Cannons is my best shot at finding that inventory in stock.
Boom. You said it.
Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
Hey, Hicken here for my friends at Cleaning Freaks at Zero Res. Great time of the year to get your house Zero Resified. And right now, you can get your entire home clean from Jacksonville's ultimate carpet cleaner. You'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $135. Plus, they're throwing in a free hallway and take $100 off the air duct cleaning. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a Jacksonville family business for nearly 70 years. Heck, I've been talking about them for over a decade. The Thompson family secret, Dandy's never frozen, always fresh baked bread with quality meats and cheeses, no dry crumbly subs here, only soft and tasty deliciousness. When I see that logo with the little dude with the cane on the label, it tells me I'm getting a trusted brand, a quality sandwich. So do what I do and stop in at a Daly's and make yours a dandy today.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
If you're tired of weekend projects turning into weekend disasters, you're not alone. Building a fence isn't as easy as it looks. And let's face it, your neighbor still hasn't fixed his lopsided masterpiece. But Superior Fence and Rail makes it easy. Highly trained professionals, top quality materials, and a fence you'll love for years to come. Skip the stress and call the pros today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Boy, rough day in the National Football League. Rashawn Slater, the starting left tackle for the Los Angeles Chargers, who just signed a huge contract extension 11 days ago, a ruptured patella in practice today, out for the year. So Justin Herbert's without one of his two good young tackles for the season on August the 7th. Just brutal. In the AFC South, as I mentioned, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, the former Gator, went down at Texan practice, had to be carted off. We don't have word yet, but apparently it was not a good scene at practice. Every player took a knee. There was obviously some pain with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. The card had to get him off the field. We'll see what happens, but it certainly did not look good. And then Anthony Richardson, the former Gator again for the Indianapolis Colts tonight, is playing Baltimore. Indianapolis decides to just not block the defensive end. He comes untouched, absolutely obliterates Richardson, and in the process, Denmark, I'm not a medical professional here, but Richardson's pinky on his throwing hand was not facing the proper direction as it should. So that would lead me to believe either dislocated or broken, because a pinky is not supposed to point in that direction, correct?
Yeah, his fingers were facing 12 o'clock and his pinky was facing 2 o'clock.
Oh, just awful. He left the game, obviously. That's his throwing hand, too. If he can't grip a football, I mean, it's only his pinky, but you kind of need that as a quarterback. If he can't grip the football, did Daniel Jones win the Indianapolis starting job, at least for right now, tonight with that Richardson injury? We'll obviously have to wait and see. All right, Antonio Johnson is less than 1 minute away. My Jaguar training camp one-on-one. It's that time of year, fantasy football. In fact, I got Dave Kluge of Football Guys joining me in the 9 o'clock hour to help you with your draft prep for any league that you are in. If you would like to be in the Hacker Fantasy League, the draft is 2 weeks from tonight, Thursday night, August the 21st. The location is Twin Peaks at Atlantic and Kernan. If you think you're one of the best fantasy football players that listens to 1010XL, we have one 16-team league. Now, you have to know what you're doing. 16 teams. If you're a fantasy football player, you have to know what you're doing. It's going to be tough. We only ask two things. A, you're available on Thursday night, August the 21st. B, you do the entire season, or I guess 1A, you play through the entire season. Don't bail at the midpoint. Nobody wants that. And also bring some folks with you. Bring the family, bring the kids, the wife, or bring the buddies for a guy's night out, whatever. You're going to have a table of 4 or 5 chairs. Don't be that one person sitting there by yourself. Have some people come out with you. We want a festive atmosphere. If you can do both of those things, you can be in the Hacker Fantasy League. And as a matter of fact, we will take caller number 4 right now. It's 641-1010, and Dylan Denmark will hook you up with one of the 16 coveted spots to this year's 2025 Hacker Fantasy League, Thursday night, August the 21st at Twin Peaks on Atlantic and Kernan. My Jaguar training camp one-on-one right now with Jaguar defensive back Antonio Johnson.
Now, renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors takes you in the locker room.
Jaguars wrapping up practice here at the Miller Electric Center, getting ready for Saturday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got Jaguar DB Antonio Johnson with us here on 1010XL. Antonio, how'd it go out there today?
Today was good. The guys just flew around, made plays, and we just, go back, look at the film, and make the corrections for today.
Got a game on Saturday. You get to hit somebody else in another uniform, man. How excited are you guys for that?
Man, we're so excited. We've been out here trying to get at each other, so now we get to, take that little frustration and that eager and excitement and go out and put on the show.
A lot of change on this roster, a lot of change in the coaching staff. As a guy that was here really for a couple of years now, but particularly last year, what's it like welcoming all the new guys in, the new staff as well?
It's very well. The team, myself, we all been very welcoming. I feel like the coaching staff, the players, the new players they brought in, all gel well. It's a good environment, good atmosphere for the team, and you see it on the field. Everybody gel together. We push each other, and it's all love.
Third year for you, third different defensive coordinator. What are the challenges that have come with that?
Just different schemes each year and just finding yourself within each scheme. Trying to eliminate what you learned the year before and you just apply what you're learning now. But also using what you learned the year before just to, apply it to your game and use it as advantage.
What do you like about Anthony Campanile? On the outside looking in, he looks like quite the character.
I know, yeah, he's a cool guy. Very energetic. He's gonna bring energy every day. He loves his players. He wants all his players to make plays and be the best player that we can be. But off the field, he also loves as a man. He talk about how he loved the room. He had a good man in the room and how having good men in the room just all around just make the defense or a team better.
A couple more for DB Antonio Johnson. Same question with Liam Cohen. What do you like about the new head coach?
Same. Bring energy every day. He pushes hard, but at the end of the day, he loves his players. He's wanting his players to be in the best position. And like I said, when you have a head coach in DC that come with that type of energy each and every day, and you feel it on the field, you see how the players are moving, you see how we going to make plays. It's easy to go make plays for guys like that.
There's a thought out there that you've had a pretty good camp. You talk to fans, you talk to, my fellow media colleagues as well. Do you feel like you've had a good camp 2 weeks in?
Yes, sir. I feel like, obviously there's always room of improvement, but I feel like each week I've been trying to come out, put my best foot forward each day, just compete hard, and at the end of the day, wherever the chips lay, they lay, and, just be the best teammate and ball player I could be.
As we begin to wrap up, Travis Hunter, sometimes you're competing against him, sometimes he's in the huddle with you. What's that dynamic like?
You gotta see what jersey he have on for the day. If he got on the same jersey as me, hey, it's all love. When he got on the other jersey, it's still all love, but hey, we competing. So, but at the end of the day, he's a good teammate. He's a good player. He's gonna make a lot of plays this year on both sides of the ball. The hype is there. He's really one of those ones for real.
And when he's on the offense, him, Diami, BTJ, there's a lot of speed over there. ETN as well. What's your thought on the offense?
Electric. It's very electric, dynamic. Let them guys go make plays, and you don't see that when them boys on the field. You got to choose your poison, and when you choose your poison, the other one's gonna kill. So, hey, I love to see what we got going on the other side of the ball with those guys, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna do.
Final question: a lot of excitement in this city. I'm sure you feel it. A lot of excitement for everything new and for what we've seen out here the first couple of weeks at camp. What's your message to Jaguar fans that'll be out Saturday night? First time a lot of them will see you guys since last January.
We just gonna come out. We're gonna give y'all guys a show. We're gonna come with a lot of energy. We're going to be physical. We're going to make a lot of plays. And we're going to try to come, support us because this year is going to be a different show.
Antonio Johnson of the Jaguars. Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you.
Awesome. This just on Hacker After Dark.
Thank you to Antonio Johnson. As always, thank you to the Jaguar PR staff for always helping us out here on Hacker After Dark to bring you those one-on-one conversations. While that was airing, news has come down out of Houston. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson out for the year, torn ACL. Look, the Texans are a division rival, obviously, but that sucks, man. I've always been a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson fan. Maybe it's the fact that he went to Florida. I just like the swag that he has. I like the moxie that he has wherever he's been, with Philadelphia, with Detroit, back to Philadelphia. And now to see this is just awful. And boy, what a day, right? Rashawn Slater, we talked about him, out for the year. Offensive tackle for the Chargers, done on August the 7th. And now Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, the starting free safety for the Texans. They brought him in via trade when they traded one of their offensive linemen, Kenyon Green, to Philadelphia. Now Gardner-Johnson is out for the year. That is a blow for the Houston Texans. There is absolutely no question about that. Keep in mind, Eric Murray, who was a Texan starter last year at safety, is now here. So the Texans, all of a sudden now, might have some issues at safety. We'll certainly see what happens, but terrible news for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and the Texans. Torn ACL being reported by Fox Sports and many other outlets, including Aaron Wilson, who I have on a bunch. He's based out there in Houston, and looks like Gardner-Johnson will indeed be out for the remainder of the season. So we'll move on. Anthony Richardson, by the way, as well, was, if you're just joining us, was knocked out of the game tonight. Baltimore and Indianapolis. He was knocked out with an injury to his finger. Well, it looked like it was dislocated or broken, the pinky finger on Anthony Richardson's throwing hand. So that was not a good look as well. Daniel Jones has come in. So A lot of injuries around the league. Slater in L.A., Gardner Johnson in Houston, and Anthony Richardson tonight in Indianapolis. And we already know Slater and Gardner Johnson are done for the season. The Jaguars announced that they're going to play their guys on Saturday against Pittsburgh. Trevor Lawrence, the starters, they're in. Travis Hunter's in. He's going to play on both sides of the ball. By the way, Pittsburgh has come out and announced they're not playing basically any of their good vets, if you will. Rodgers, Ramsey, Metcalf, Watt, Jonnu Smith. You go on down the line. Cam Hayward, obviously. None of those guys are going to play. So the Jaguars will be playing against a large portion of Steeler backups, but the Jaguars need the work. New offensive system, new defensive system. Got to build that timing, got to build that chemistry. Let's preview Pittsburgh and Jacksonville Saturday night here at Everbank Stadium. Jared Bailey does a terrific job for the Sporting News. Jared's been up in Pittsburgh the last couple of days. He also hosts a couple of Steeler podcasts as well. Let's get the Steeler perspective a little bit from Jared Bailey. We'll also throw him a couple of Jaguar questions as well. As we look ahead, 48 hours from now, the Steelers and the Jaguars here at Everbank Stadium. Jared Bailey of the Sporting News joins me next, right here on Hacker After Dark.
Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
As a law enforcement officer, safe roads are one of my top priorities, ensuring everyone can get home safely each day. Some never will, due to aggressive driving, being distracted, or speeding on the roads. And too often, that results in the toughest part of my job and the longest walk in my life. I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
9 people will be killed on our Florida roadways today. Don't let it be you or a person you love. Buckle up every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
Pickett here with a game winner. It's Checkmate Coatings. I've scouted them all. And this Jacksonville crew's the real deal.
I'm Brendan, owner of Checkmate Coatings. We transform pool decks, driveways, and patios with pro precision.
Score big at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Football season is here, so I've got to get organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers, wherever that clutter has taken over. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off this month only. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Denny Thompson here. Look, don't get left in the dark. We're all trying to reason with hurricane season, so at least be prepared. For top-of-the-line generators in Jacksonville, I turn to Tyson. Licensed pros at Tyson deliver reliable, whole-home standby generators and provide fast repair service. They even do custom installations for local businesses, so don't wait. Ensure seamless installation and peace of mind. Call Tyson now, 904-762-1000 for a free estimate on generator services. TysonInc.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast. But Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This just in on Hacker After Dark.
All right, so I guess it's the preseason for NFL reporters as well. Now, it's not all great news for the Texans, but it is better news. So after the report came out 20 minutes ago that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was out for the year with a torn ACL, and that report came out through sources in Houston and nationally with Fox Sports. Now, within the last 7 minutes, basically, the Texans are still conducting more tests for safety Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to determine the full extent of damage. Sources now saying the ACL is not torn, but he is expected to be sidelined indefinitely, an undetermined amount of time. It is a knee injury, but the team hopes he will be able to return at some point. Now, I don't exactly know what that means. I mean, that doesn't sound, Denmark, like he's going to return 2 weeks from now. I mean, maybe they get lucky enough and he comes back, I don't know.
Halfway through the year.
Yeah, he comes back in November, maybe. I mean, it's a significant injury, but we wanted to be correct, and obviously a couple of the national folks were not correct. They've quickly amended that, so we wanted to as well. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's ACL is not torn, according to sources, but he is expected to be sidelined indefinitely, an undetermined amount of time. It is a knee injury. He was carted off the field today. The team hopes he will be able to return, quote, at some point. So there you go. All right, Jared Bailey, Sporting News, previewing the Jaguars and the Steelers now on Hacker After Dark.
Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, your home for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are glad you are with us. The Steelers and the Jaguars, Saturday night, preseason game number 1 for both teams. Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL with pregame coverage beginning at 4 o'clock. What about this Pittsburgh Steelers team that comes into Jacksonville? And for that matter, how much of the Jaguars starters and, of course, maybe Travis Hunter will we see on Saturday night? Let's talk about all of it with Jared Bailey. You can read him at the Sporting News. Jared also does a terrific job covering the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Jared, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Hey, Jared, we're good. Thank you for the time. All right, Pittsburgh. The last time you and I talked, Aaron Rodgers was on the doorstep of signing there. He hadn't officially yet. Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey were still Miami Dolphins. And, boy, things changed very quickly, man. From a Steeler perspective, it was quite the offseason up there in the Steel City.
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of expected Aaron to be there. And then these rumors of, potentially Jalen Ramsey making his way to Pittsburgh via trade started. And then it was a weird touch and go thing where Jonnu Smith was also involved in rumors. And then it was said, it's probably actually not going to happen. And then on the last day of June, they both end up in Pittsburgh. And now Minkah Fitzpatrick's back in Miami, the team that drafted him. And obviously Pittsburgh traded for him back in 2019. A chaotic offseason for the Steelers for the second straight year. But it's something that can be appreciated from the perspective of, that they're not just going to bang their head against the same wall if things clearly don't work. And that's something that Omar Khan, the general manager, can be applauded for making such drastic changes 2 consecutive years. And now they're really going, they really embrace the all-in mentality of trying to win in 2025, and we'll see how far that takes them.
You write nationally for the Sporting News. You also do a lot of work with the Steeler fan base, podcasts, websites, and such. What has been the Steeler fan base's reaction to the arrival of Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, everybody in the lead up was, saying that, they don't want him to come. They don't want him here. And then, of course, as soon as he signs, it's all kumbaya and everybody's excited for Aaron Rodgers, just as I and many people expected. And, yeah, I mean, seeing it in Latrobe and everything, there's lots of number 8 jerseys. He's a popular guy whenever practices end. They had their annual Friday Night Lights practice that they have at Latrobe Memorial Stadium, where 13,000 fans showed up to watch a practice. And the most popular guy when it came to getting stuff signed was Aaron Rodgers. So, I think it was a large vocal minority of people who are, pretending that they would stop being fans if Aaron Rodgers ended up in Pittsburgh, because he's been a guy that's been very popular so far since showing up. And, a guy who said all the right things, too. And I'm going to give him a lot of credit there, because there's been multiple instances in his career where he's kind of put his foot in his mouth. And that's a fair criticism of him. But since coming to Pittsburgh, and obviously it's only, the beginning of August, but he's done all the right things. He said all the right things. And I think at this point, everybody's just excited to see what it looks like on the field.
Jaguars and the Steelers, Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the preseason opener right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Jarrett, it was a very un-Steeler-like offseason, man, with DK Metcalf, Jonnu Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Ramsey. I mean, from an outside point of view, does this lead people to believe that maybe Mike Tomlin knows he not only needs to get in the playoffs, but maybe win in the playoffs to have a long future there in Pittsburgh?
I'd push back that it's like un-Steeler-like. It's un-Kevin Colbert-like, and Kevin Colbert was the GM there for a long time. Omar Khan, since getting promoted to general manager after Kevin Colbert retired, has been very active. So I guess traditionally speaking, sure, you could say it's un-Steelers-like, but this is the new Steelers, and it's very exciting. In terms of Mike Tomlin, I think that there is a little bit of a sense of, not that he would be fired, because truly I don't think he ever will be. I do, however, wonder if he is running out of time, just personally speaking, on like how much longer he wants to do the job. Chuck Noll was the head man for, I believe, 23 years. At the end of Mike Tomlin's current deal, he would have been the Steelers head coach for 21 years. And that's a long time to do one single job. So I do think that there is a little bit of, how much longer is he going to be there? Like, is he just going to want to step away and, spend time with his wife and whatnot? I think that there's real questions about that, but it's not going to happen before the 2027 season, which he's extended through. But I do think that looking at the group of veterans, and I'm sure he's done this too, where he's looking, okay, TJ Watt's not going to be here forever. Cam Hayward's certainly not going to be here much longer. The defense is still pretty good. It's just the offensive side of the ball that has really needed help, and they continue to try new things there, and that's why you trade for a DK Metcalf, who is an upgrade over George Pickens, and you send away George Pickens just because he was too much of a headache behind the scenes. They want to have as little distractions as possible when it comes to bad stuff in the locker room, and they want to be able to bring in talent as well. So they've done a lot of that this offseason, and I do think that there's a lot of, fair questions to say, how much longer does Mike Tomlin want to do this? And are all of these moves in part because he wants very badly to have at least one more deep playoff run before he does decide to hang it up?
Very unlikely, Jared, that we see a lot of the stars for the Steelers on Saturday night here in Jacksonville. But for the guys that will play, is there a young guy or two that you're going to have your eye on from a Pittsburgh point of view?
Yeah, undrafted free agent rookie Rock Taylor out of Memphis has had a really good camp so far. And when you look at the depth of the Steelers receiving core, there's not much there. And assuming they don't add somebody else, whether it be via trade or like a notable free agent that's still on the market, I mean, you look at the potential guys that can take that number 6 spot. If Rock Taylor performs well in the preseason and keeps it up in camp, I don't see a real argument as to why he shouldn't get a spot over a guy like Scotty Miller, where we know what Scotty Miller is. He's been in the league for a good while. He's a depth, borderline fringe practice squad guy. I would rather see them give that spot to a guy like Taylor who, like I said, has had a good camp so far. And if that continues over the next few weeks in preseason, I don't see a reason or a valid argument to not put him on the 53-man roster over a vet where you already know what you're going to get and it's not a high ceiling. Obviously, running back Caleb Johnson, the third-round pick out of Iowa, he's had a really good camp as well. I'm excited to see what he looks like on the field in live action. So, there's a lot of young guys that the Steelers have brought in, especially over the past, in this draft and over the past few years where they show up in the preseason. Obviously, Nick Herbig's kind of been an example of that, where he had a tremendous preseason in 2023 and 24 and has become a real big part of that defense. And I think that an undrafted guy like Taylor, who might be able to make the roster with his play, and then a third-round pick like Caleb Johnson, who's, I think over the course of the season going to become a bigger and bigger part of the offense, will be able to showcase how much reps he should get early on in the season with how he plays in exhibition play.
As a guy who may or may not have drafted Caleb Johnson in a dynasty rookie draft, I'm kind of excited as well on Saturday night to see Caleb Johnson. Jared Bailey of the Sporting News. Jared, the time we have left, let's go to the Jaguars. Obviously, a lot of excitement about some of the young guys here. We still don't have exact clarity on how much the guys are going to play. But if it were you, how would you handle with so many new guys on the roster? I think half the roster, half of the 90 guys were not even here in January when the season ended. How would you, if you were Liam Cohen, handle the preseason?
I at least want to give everybody that you can at least a drive or two, just so they can at least get their feet wet a little bit, feel getting hit, and do so against a team that isn't their own, and do it in a live game situation, because we see it a lot around the NFL. I talked to Brian Baldinger on this on Believe in Steelers, because I thought about the same scenario for the Steelers where, you want to be cautious and it is only preseason. You don't want to risk guys getting hurt. But at the same time, when there's so much new players and whatnot, you have to get chemistry down, and you got to be able to, feel what the plays feel like in real live action. You got to have some reps before week one. You can't just go in completely dry. So I feel the same way about the Steelers as I do for Jacksonville, where it's I want to see all of these players at least get a drive or two per game, just to say, all right, we played a little bit, we got a little bit of, what it feels like to do this against another team. And it's a new offense for Trevor Lawrence again. And there's, you want to see what Travis Hunter looks like on both sides of the ball. So that doesn't mean that they have to play, an entire half or even an entire quarter, but 2-3 drives, I think that's perfectly fine, especially for the first game. If you want to do, the whole dress rehearsal game in game 2 where they play a half, that would be good. But I'd like to see both teams that are playing Saturday utilize these games to their advantage and have these guys get out there and get real reps, rather than, treat it like it's nothing and not put Aaron Rodgers on the field or not put Trevor Lawrence on the field. These are new situations for both guys in different ways, where, like I said, Lawrence is in another new offense. Rodgers is in a new offense with a new team and new teammates. They need to be able to see what it feels like before the season starts, because, then you're in a situation where September becomes an extension of the preseason and they start off slow, and nobody on either fan base wants to see that. So I'd like to see both teams at least go in head first and try to get some meaningful reps for their veterans.
Jared, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about the Sporting News, and for that matter, since it is Jaguar Steeler week, if you want to keep up to date on the team that's coming in Saturday night, the Steelers, I know you have some podcasts that people can check out.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at JBaileyNFL for everything. I try to post all my stuff there. But yeah, Believe in Steelers, powered by FanDuel. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. 3 days a week when it comes to the Steelers coverage. The written work for the Sporting News, as well as USA Today Sports Media Group, gearing up for what should be a fun season.
It's a busy time of year. Again, the Jaguars and the Steelers Saturday night in the preseason opener. Jared Bailey of the Sporting News. Jared, thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon.
All right, buddy. Take care.
It's a new season.
I like where this team's headed.
A new era.
The fan base has been great.
A new hope.
We're all here to win.
Yes! This is where the dream begins. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Saturday at 7 on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, or Beaver Mitsubishi in St. Augustine. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
I'm Max Fink. Join me for the Gator Report on 1010XL as I break down the latest storylines in Gator Nation.
Put together by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go Gators! The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron. Totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens. Also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Joe C. for CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. And if your dream is to create that space where you're living large in your backyard, then you need to get with the good people at CSS. They put a gas log in our fireplace, an awesome fire pit out back where the kids can toast s'mores and we can just hang out and watch the game. It's all part of your outdoor living experience with CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
You dream it, we build it. CSS.
Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. I'm former Jaguar Tom McManus. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. We haul construction debris or property cleanouts for managers, owners, and realtors. We do it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Your grandfather was stronger at 50 than you are at 40. Want to know why? His testosterone was 30% higher than yours. That's not genetics. That's modern life killing your hormones. Stress, chemicals, sitting, it's all crushing your T levels. Male Excel reverses it. Prescription testosterone, thyroid optimization, personalized to you. Over 100,000 men are already winning again. Your turn. Try MaleExcel.com. Free assessment because you deserve it. Your family deserves it.
Rock fans, get ready. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs are rolling into the Florida Theater Thursday, August 14th. Founding member of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Mike brings raw rock and roll, killer guitar riffs, and that unmistakable edge. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs.
These are the best of times.
Get your tickets now at floridatheater.com. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, August 14th at Florida Theater.
As a contractor, finding reliable subcontractors is key to project success. Prosser here. Guys, that's where Lloyd's Heating and Air shines. Not just your mechanical HVAC experts, but your partner, understanding every facet of construction to keep your project on track. Lloyd's will spot issues early before they cause delays. If you're a contractor with a need for reliability, visit LloydsHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Crazy day, crazy evening in the National Football League. Again, injuries are the word of the day. So the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson thing, so just to recap, it came out 35 minutes ago that the former Florida Gator, the current Houston Texan, reportedly had a torn ACL, was out for the year. That was out there for literally about 7 or 8 minutes in real time before guys like Adam Schefter tweeted out to offset Fox Sports' report, a couple of reports out of Houston as well, that the knee or the ACL is not torn. It is a knee injury. He's out for an indefinite period of time. The Texans are hoping they will be able to get him back at some point. So, long story short, I guess it's good news in a way, because for 7 minutes, Texan fans thought that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, the former Gator, and their new starting free safety, was out for the year with an ACL. The ACL is not torn, but it does appear to still be a significant knee injury of some sort, out indefinitely. But the team does hope he can come back at some point in 2025. That is not the case for Rashawn Slater, the starting left tackle for the Los Angeles Chargers, a ruptured patella tendon in practice. He is out for the season. Just a brutal blow for the Chargers and Justin Herbert. And then tonight, a couple of preseason games going on. We were supposed to see a good quarter and a half of Anthony Richardson playing Baltimore. Well, the Colts inexcusably just don't block one of the Raven defensive ends. Literally do not block him. He is unabated to the quarterback, hits Anthony Richardson, and Richardson had to leave the game with a finger injury. Do yourself a favor. There are pictures of it. I probably wouldn't go look at it if you're queasy about some of that sort of stuff. His pinky is not pointing where a pinky should be pointing. It's a clear dislocation or a break of the pinky in the throwing hand, it appears. Again, you need 5 fingers to grip a football, theoretically. So if it's a break, that's obviously pretty significant. A dislocation, who knows? But Anthony Richardson had to leave the game. Daniel Jones came in, went 10 of 21 for $144. That's kind of who Daniel Jones is. Not that the score matters, but the Ravens lead 21-9 heading into the second half. Raiders and the Seahawks later on tonight in the, the Las Vegas Raider preseason debut of Pete Carroll. And I believe Sam Darnold is going to play. I haven't heard any different, at least a little bit. The Sam Darnold debut there for the Seattle Seahawks. The Jaguars will make their preseason debut on Saturday. And Liam Cohen announced earlier today that everybody's going to play. He didn't specify necessarily how much. The thought is, if the offense does really well in the first series, goes down and scores a touchdown, I don't know why you would keep him out there any longer than that. But regardless of how long they're going to play, they are all going to play. Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., Bigsby, Etienne, De'Ami Brown, you name it. Obviously, Eric Armstead and Mason Smith and guys like that won't go. But a majority of the guys will, including Travis Hunter, who Liam Cohen said will play both sides of the ball on Saturday. Will play offense and will play defense. Denmark, I guess I'm surprised, because I mentioned this last night. I know we got to go quick here. I'm a little surprised they're going to play. But then in thinking about it, they do only have the one joint practice. And in today's day and age, a lot of teams have 2 joint practices. A lot of teams, 2 of their 3 preseason opponents, they'll get together with for a couple of days of practice prior to those preseason games. Well, in the Jaguars' case, they only have 1 joint practice with Miami, and I believe it's just 1 day with the Dolphins. So not a lot of activity with other teams, which might be forcing Liam Cohen's hand a little bit to play his guys in the actual games.
Yeah, he went on with Kay Adams earlier, and apparently he said they're going to go about a quarter, so you would expect 2 drives, which, if you want to, apparently Robert Hainsey went up to Cohen and said, hey, we want to play, and Trevor Lawrence kind of echoed that, and, if them 2 did, probably others did as well. So if your guys want to, and you're kind of leaning that way as a head coach, Baselli said it's Liam Cohen's decision, as Gladstone did too, during Jaguars happy hour today during Liam Cohen's show. Then yeah, it's fine. I'm not big one way or the other on they should or shouldn't play.
No, nobody is until somebody gets hurt Saturday night.
Yeah, well then, fans are going to fan that.
Right, and if somebody gets hurt Saturday night, then that'll be Monday morning quarterbacking at its finest. But let's hope knock on wood, that does not happen on Saturday evening. But it should make Saturday night fun. Look, if you were on the fence about going to the game, you're going to see the starters out there, and you're going to see Travis Hunter on both sides of the ball. You can listen to it right here on 1010XL, 7 o'clock kick, pregame coverage beginning at 4 o'clock. My Jaguar training camp one-on-one with linebacker Chad Muma. He'll be out there on Saturday night. Chad Muma probably on the roster bubble. I lean to think that he's probably on the inside of the bubble as opposed to the outside looking in. We'll see. I think you could do a lot worse, the backup linebacker, than Chad Muma. I think he's a good player, a good special teams player as well. But I had the opportunity yesterday after the Wednesday practice at the Miller Electric Center to catch up with Chad Muma. We'll bring you that conversation next as we are at halftime here on Hacker After Dark. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock. Also, we'll get you ready for your fantasy football drafts. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, my buddy Dave Kluge of footballguys.com will get you ready with what you need to know for fantasy football season. A lot more to do. 1 hour to go with you right here on Hacker After Dark.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
You run your mouth nonstop since the minute we met.
I know what's going on.
No, shut up.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Was that a fart?
The Drill.
It stinks.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Shut up.
Go to the green every Saturday morning.
Happy learned how to putt.
And get golf tips and talk to help make your golf game more fun on the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
Let PGA pros straighten your morning drive with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser on Brunch with the Tour, Tuesday morning at 8:30 on 1010XL. Teed up by Apex Roofing and Contracting and Clearwater Irrigation. Brunch provided by Chick-fil-A.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Frank Franzi here for Coyle & Son Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports memories. Remember the 2017 AFC Championship game when Miles Jack wasn't down? Do you know what else isn't down? Fences installed by Coyle & Sons. Their fences have been standing tall here in Jacksonville for nearly a century. If you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coyle & Sons today at 904-356-4821 or visit CoyleJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. CoyleJacks.com.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance painting.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
If life blindsided you tomorrow, was your family struggle? I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial, and I can help. One call could protect your family for life. 904-885-9566. Harborstone Financial.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
9 o'clock hour has arrived. Glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Jaguar linebacker Chad Muma is my training camp one-on-one this hour. I caught up with Chad yesterday down at the Miller Electric Center. You'll hear that conversation in less than 2 minutes. By the way, the Eagles and the Bengals are also playing a preseason game tonight. Joe Burrow played and looked fantastic. Now, there is a caveat. Not that Burrow doesn't normally look fantastic. The Philadelphia Eagles rested a majority of their defensive starters. All right? So take that into account. A lot of Eagle defensive starters did not play. Having said that, Joe Burrow was 9 of 10 for a $123 and 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 4 grabs for 77 yards and a touchdown. Whew. That's good work at the office for both Burrow and Chase. Heck, who's to say they couldn't do that against Philadelphia's starters? It was the backups, just in the interest of fairness. But nevertheless, Burrow, 9 of 10 for a $123 and 2 scores in his 2025 preseason debut is a very, very nice debut tonight for the Cincinnati Bengal quarterback. The Jaguars, again, make their preseason debut on Saturday. Yesterday at the Miller Electric Center in preparation for the Steeler game, I got the opportunity to catch up with now 4th-year linebacker. It's kind of hard to believe, right? 4th-year linebacker Chad Muma. Here is that conversation on Hacker After Dark.
Now, renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors takes you in the locker room.
All right, the Jaguars wrapping up another practice out here at the Miller Electric Center, getting ready for the Steelers on Saturday night. We got Jaguar linebacker Chad Muma with us here on 1010XL. Chad, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for, talking with me today.
How'd the practice go out there today?
I think there was, ebbs and flows of the practice today. I think that, defensively, towards the end, we kind of let the offense, run on us a little bit, and that's not what we're looking for. Obviously, we're trying to, be more stout as a defense, especially during call-up period where they're just driving the field down on us. So we're going to get back in the film room and, make those corrections that we need to.
4th year for you, 3rd different defensive coordinator. What have kind of the challenges been this offseason with another defensive system?
Yeah, I think, obviously it's just learning the new system right away. But, I think this is the system that I'm most comfortable with just because it's so similar to kind of what I had in college a little bit. So the techniques are similar and, I feel more confident playing in that.
I was talking to Jack Kaiser earlier this training camp, and he brought up a good point, one I hadn't thought of. You, Foye, Devin, all came to Jacksonville together. This is your 4th year together with those guys. Just talk about that bond, the chemistry in that linebacker room, being with guys that long.
Yeah, you definitely build trust, over 3 years like that. And so, there's a lot of things that we're able to just talk about with one another, and we kind of see things similar, especially being in 3 different systems together. And you kind of build that trust more and more, and on the field you're able to play faster because you know how guys communicate out there.
A couple of more for Chad Muma. All right, so you mentioned Anthony Campanile's system, obviously Liam Cohen as well, brand new staff, huge roster turnover. For a guy that's been here as long as you have, what has this offseason been like with so much newness in the building?
Yeah, it's a lot of new, but I think it's good because we're bringing some good competition in. I think that, only makes players better when you have, more competition and, there's not certain, spots that are filled out right away. You gotta, really compete in the off season, really compete in the weight room, really compete in the film room, and then on the field, obviously, come in training camp.
You get to hit somebody else on Saturday night and got a big smile on your face. I mean, look, mini camp, OTAs, we're out here watching you guys every day compete against each other. Finally, another colored jersey comes in. How excited are you for Saturday night?
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's about time that we're able to hit someone else and go against someone that's not our own team and, really let loose. Not worried about, making sure your team stays safe, but you're out there, trying to go, punish the other team.
As we begin to wrap up, year 4 for you. You've been out here, so many times in the previous 3 seasons. How is your game different? How is Chad Muma different now from when you arrived here 4 years ago?
Oh, man. I mean, when I arrived here 4 years ago, I was, a little rookie. And, there's a lot that's happening at once. Everything's kind of, it seems like the world's spinning around you and, it's going super fast. And I think things slow down a lot more the more you go each year in the NFL and you kind of understand, the way that things work in the NFL. And just confident, flying around, just trying to, make plays out there.
Final question. Obviously, last year didn't go the way anybody wanted, you guys, the fans, but there is an awful lot of excitement in this city. I'm sure you feel it. What's your thought, your message to the fans that are coming out Saturday night? First time a lot of them are going to see you since last January. Just talk about the excitement and what you want the fans to know coming out Saturday.
Yeah, they should be excited. I think that we have a great team this year. I think that there's a lot of playmakers on our team. There's a lot of excitement, and I think you can kind of see that through the training camp. If fans have been out here, they've been able to, participate and seeing on, one-on-ones or team plays and explosive plays for both sides of the ball. And so I think there's a lot of excitement around that, and I think fans are going to have fun this year.
Chad Muma, best of luck Saturday. We'll be watching.
I appreciate it, Ryan.
There you go. Chad Muma with us here on Hacker After Dark. Again, thank you to the Jaguar PR staff. They have been outstanding for the first 2+ weeks. Not that they aren't always outstanding, but good grief. They just bring the players over right to us. We certainly appreciate that and are thankful we get to bring you these one-on-one conversations every evening here on Hacker After Dark. And look, the 2 guys I talked to tonight, Antonio Johnson in hour 1, Chad Muma right now, are 2 guys that I'm excited about seeing on Saturday night. I mentioned this last night, I believe. Yeah, it was last night. The talk coming in, and this is kind of why I wanted to talk to 2 of these guys. Remember this offseason, as recently as a month ago before camp, Ezra Cleveland, Antonio Johnson, Darnell Savage, maybe Travis Etienne, Chad Muma, veterans that a lot of people thought, and I'm not going to throw stones in a glass house, I was one of them, thought some of these guys, maybe most of these guys, might have trouble making the 53-man roster. Or some might lose their starting jobs. Well, all right, let's take stock here. Travis Etienne, and I'm trying not to be a guy that's too caught up in the moment. I'm trying to, assess everything I've seen in years past. I think you could make the argument that he's having his best training camp. He's a free agent at the end of this year, right? Most people think he's not going to return to Jacksonville in 2025, so he's playing for a contract. Probably some added motivation there. Etienne has been very, very good in camp. Ezra Cleveland, we gave his spot away. Who had Ezra Cleveland starting on the offensive line a month and a half ago? I'll wait, because I'm not raising my hand. I don't think anybody did. Certainly no one that I knew. Somebody forgot to tell Ezra Cleveland that. He's been pretty good out there, man. He has solidified himself to me as the starting left guard on this football team. Those 2 safeties, Darnell Savage and Antonio Johnson, have been good. Really good. And you factor in the injury to Caleb Ransaw, the 3rd-round pick out of Tulane. I thought that Savage or Johnson would make the team. I thought the other one might be in trouble. I'd actually now be very, very surprised if both guys are not on the 53-man Jaguar roster. And then Chad Muma, who I just spoke with, of all the guys, he still might be the one that's in the most jeopardy. But again, I say this. Chad Muma is a good football player. And you look at that linebacker room. All right, Foye is definitely here. Devin Lloyd is definitely here. Ventrell Miller is definitely here. And Jack Kaiser is definitely here. That's 4. Probably got to have 5, right? And then you factor in, Yasir Abdullah, Dennis Gardeck, Jalen McLeod, although he's injured now as well, the rookie from Auburn. I think Muma is on the bubble, but I think he's on the inside of the bubble, not the outside looking in. I would have Muma right now on my 53 if I were to make it on August the 7th. Of course, it isn't. We have preseason games to go through, a couple of weeks of play to go through. We will see what happens. But for the here and now, I think Muma has done enough to be here in 2025. It's going to be fun. Saturday night, preseason game number 1, Jaguars and the Steelers. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL with kickoff at 7 o'clock. It is fantasy football time of year as well. The HFL is coming up. I know you guys are getting ready for your drafts out there. One of the best websites out there, has been so for years, footballguys.com. We're going to talk about the Jaguars when it comes to fantasy football, but let's look league-wide. Who is the consensus top 5? Is there a consensus number 1 player in the draft? What about some sleepers? Let's talk a little fantasy football. My buddy Dave Kluge, footballguys.com, joins me next on a Thursday night here in Jacksonville, Florida. It's Hacker After Dark.
He's entered. Open the door to the Jags locker room to bring you exclusive insights and interviews on 1010XL. This just in the locker room with Hayes Carlyon. Unlocked by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
The Coke Zero Sugar 400 returns as the NASCAR Cup Series regular season finale. Answer this question for a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400, August 23rd. Who has the most victories in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name only to 641-1010. Who has the most victories in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name only to 641-1010 for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Start your Saturday with a whiff of the great outdoors.
Captain Kevin Favor here with Captain Kirk and Jeff Loggeman, and we bring you the fresh air of the great outdoors.
On the Nimnit Outdoors Show, presented by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal conditions.
We're a veteran and still 100% locally owned and operated HVAC, plumbing, electrical, roofing, and general contracting company. Ideal Conditions has been BBB accredited with an A+ rating since 2008 with 4.9 out of 5 stars from over 1,000 reviews on Google.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
IdealConditionsJax.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJax.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
What is 1010XL's Jeff Prosser's favorite movie? The answer next.
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Believe it or not, Jeff Prosser's favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hey, Jacksonville Hicken here. I've been around the block or two, and Checkmate Coatings is who I'd call for my own place. They're my new MVP for stunning, long-lasting floors.
Brendan here with Checkmate Coatings. No massive overhead means top prices on top-quality pool decks, driveways, garages, and patios, too.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com today. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Yo, ET here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your pool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Steelers kick off the preseason on Saturday. But with the preseason kicking off, that means we are getting very, very close to fantasy football season. I know a lot of drafts are coming up. In fact, one of my first drafts, because we have buddies traveling in from out of town, is literally this Saturday before the Jaguar-Steeler game. Of course, we have the HFL here on 1010XL. That'll take place on Thursday night, August the 21st. Let's get you ready for your fantasy draft, and let's do it with one of the best. Dave Kluge of Football Guys, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Dave, it's your time of year, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, it doesn't get better than this, man. You know, working long days, but doing something that I love. I'm basically at my computer from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. every single day, trying to bring in as much training camp analysis as I possibly can, seeing where I could still find those edges, constantly tweaking my rankings, and then, of course, as you'd imagine, drafting a lot of fantasy football teams.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And we're going to get your thoughts on some of the Jaguar guys in a moment. First and foremost, I always tell people this. There's nothing quite like draft day. For me, I'm in a league that's 20 years old. In fact, I think it might be 25 years old, come to think of it. I've been in it for 20 years. But buddies come in from out of town. We're all in a house, in a living room. We don't see each other but once every year pretty much, and it is for the draft. There's something special about those long-lasting leagues when it comes to draft day.
Oh, couldn't agree more. Yeah, I commissioned a league right when my buddies and I graduated high school. So it was a way for us to keep in touch as we all spread across the country, going to different colleges. And we are now, I believe this is year 18 or 19 that we're doing it. And we are scattered all over the country, but we still get together every single week or every single year on Labor Day weekend, have a great time, you know, stand up at each other's weddings, godfathers to each other's kids. You know, I think we probably would have stayed friends without the fantasy league, but I'm sure that played a big part in helping keeping us all together over the last 2 decades.
Yeah, fantasy football is a good deal, and obviously it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger as the years have gone by. All right, Dave, I know you're getting this question a lot, but let's begin right at the very top. Let's assume it's a PPR league, points per reception. That appears to be the way many leagues are going now. If that is the case, who has been the consensus number one pick that you're seeing in all these drafts?
Jamar Chase, no question. I mean, this is probably the easiest choice that anybody's going to have to make on draft day if you're sitting there with a 101. We're looking at a guy coming up fresh off of a Triple Crown at the prime of his career, one of the best wide receivers in NFL history, in a team that throws the ball a lot with a good quarterback and a bad defense. I mean, you can't poke a hole in Jamar Chase's profile. He is just a perfect pick to make with the 101.
Dave Kluge of Football Guys. I'm old enough to remember when running backs dominated the first round. That is no longer the case. I mean, are you seeing more wide receivers going round one than running backs this year?
Absolutely, yeah. But that being said, I think it does open up a unique opportunity now that the value has shifted so heavily towards wide receivers. I've had a lot of drafts where I've walked out starting with two very good running backs. You can get Christian McCaffrey at the end of round one, and then get Jonathan Taylor at the top of round two, or Devon Achane, and then you can even follow that up with a James Cook or a Chase Brown in round three. And I think because so many people are going after wide receivers early, a lot of drafters now are kind of turning in round 4 or 5 to look for those running backs, and you can zig while others are zagging. So I think that there are a lot of different ways to attack your drafts this year, and I tell everybody that you shouldn't go into a draft with a set strategy saying, I'm going to take my running backs early, I'm going to take my wide receivers early. I think what you want to do is rank your top 35 to 40 players and just draft straight off of that list of rankings. And then once you get 3 or 4 rounds into your draft, see the players that you have. From there, you can shift your strategy a little bit. So if you start off, running back, then you know that you're going to be pivoting hard to wide receivers in those mid rounds and vice versa. So I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to draft. I think the positional value has kind of balanced itself out naturally now, and it opens up opportunities to draft in a lot of different ways.
Dave, you mentioned Jamar Chase going number 1. The rest of the top 5, obviously there's going to be a little bit of differing here, but by and large, how have you seen the rest of the top 5 fall into place?
Yeah, I think, it's different, really. Jamar Chase is the clear 101, and I guess 90 to 95% of drafts. But that 2 to 5 is really, really tight in a lot of different rankings. And I can even go all the way down 2 to 6, if we're being honest. Justin Jefferson right now is dealing with a hamstring injury that's kind of pushed him to the bottom of that tier. But I think Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, Bijan Robinson, Justin Jefferson, they're all very tight in rankings. I prefer CeeDee Lamb with the 2nd overall pick. This is a guy who just 2 years ago was the number 1 scoring wide receiver in fantasy football. We saw a little bit of a dip last year as they were dealing with quarterback injuries in Dallas. But Dak Prescott is back off that hamstring injury. He's 100%. He helped make CeeDee Lamb the overall wide receiver 1 just 2 years ago. So he's the easy pick for me. When it comes to the running backs, though, Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, it gets really, really tough there. Saquon obviously was the biggest scorer last year, but you look at the amount of touches he had on his body, there's a lot of fear that he could potentially break down. So I still prefer Saquon Barkley ahead of Gibbs and Bijan, but it gets really, really tight in there. Personally, I think if you're picking 2 to 6, you kind of do the same thing I said earlier, where you just rank out the players in the order that you prefer them and hope that the league mates ahead of you will take some of those players and kind of make the decisions for you.
Couple more for Dave Kluge of Football Guys. As far as quarterbacks go, inevitably somebody in every league will draft a quarterback too high. Dave, where's the sweet spot? Where should quarterbacks begin going in these drafts?
So I'm going to contradict myself because I just said that you don't want to go into a draft with a preconceived strategy. But I think the one strategy that I do want to try to adhere to as much as possible is just waiting on quarterback. And when you think you've waited too long, wait some more. There is so much value to be had late in drafts this year. And so many people fall into the trap of saying, well, I've got my running backs, I've got my wide receivers, I've got my tight end. Now I need to draft my quarterback. When you realistically this year could be drafting multiple bench players to get depth at running backs and wide receivers before you look at the quarterback. Now, it's tough to know who that breakout player is going to be. But if you look at quarterback rankings, you can get through the top 23 guys or so and talk yourself into any of those guys being top 5 at their position. Even when you start looking at the Bryce Young, not a sexy name by any means, but over the last month of last season, he was the number 1 scoring quarterback. Cam Ward is a guy getting pushed way, way down in drafts this year, but he's got some rushing upside that could surprise a lot of people where he can be a viable quarterback. Michael Penix, J.J. McCarthy, Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Drake May, Caleb Williams. There are just so many guys that are good quarterbacks in good situations this year that it is so hard for me to justify paying up for any of those elite guys.
You mentioned Trevor Lawrence. Let's finish with the Jaguars. Again, Dave Kluge of Football Guys. Look, I drafted Travis Hunter in every dynasty rookie league that I'm in, mainly because I was very high in those rookie drafts because my teams were awful last year. But I get the same points from DB position and the wide receiver position. Travis Hunter has been a great dynasty pick. What about a redraft league, Dave? Where are you seeing Travis Hunter go in some redraft leagues?
Well, I promise I'm not just trying to butter you up here. I am higher on Travis Hunter than anybody else in the industry. I publish my rankings, and you can find them at Football Guys, but I also take part in the Fantasy Pros Expert Consensus Rankings contest, where I've logged back-to-back finishes inside the top 20. And this year, I have Travis Hunter as my wide receiver 22. His ADP is wide receiver 31, so a little bit lower. But I just see such a good player, and I don't think that the Jaguars, who invested in James Gladstone, a guy who played a pivotal part in helping build Los Angeles' offense, and then Liam Cohen, one of the best offensive minds in football, I don't think that they would have traded what they traded to move up for Travis Hunter unless they had big plans for him on offense. And Ryan, I remember talking on your show probably a little over a month ago when we were talking about Travis Hunter's impact. And I said that I see him as a very similar player to Chris Godwin, and Brian Thomas Jr. as a very similar player to Mike Evans. And it's so easy to envision that similar high-low offense where Brian Thomas Jr. is keeping defenses honest by getting behind them, and Travis Hunter is able to work underneath. So Brian Thomas Jr., he's got the production from last year that we can't ignore, and that makes him a first-round pick in most leagues. But it would not surprise me one bit if Travis Hunter ends the year with more targets working as that underneath safety valve than Brian Thomas Jr. can get.
You mentioned BTJ as a first-round pick and a 12-team PPR. Where's Travis Hunter going? Round 4, round 5, in that area?
ADP says that he goes in round 5, but he's a guy with my ranking being pretty aggressive on him. I am A-okay taking Travis Hunter in round 4, and that's been a guy for me. If I'm in the middle to end of round 4, I don't even think twice. He's almost just an auto pick for me at that spot in the draft.
Other Jaguars, as we go quickly here, Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne. That's a good problem to have, not so much in fantasy football. They might monopolize each other. What's your thought on the tailback position?
The way I envision it splitting up, and maybe you can tell me if I'm right or wrong on this, is that Tank Bigsby is probably going to get a lot of the early down and goal line work, which has some value. And then Travis Etienne, I expect him to get a lot of the passing down work, which also has some value. So you say they could cannibalize each other a little bit. I think both of them being in their roles makes them both weekly flex options. Of course, Tank Bigsby is going to be a little bit more volatile, as you probably want him to score a touchdown to really pay off. Travis Etienne is the guy getting overlooked in drafts right now. But if he can maintain that role as a guy playing on passing downs and maybe even lining up in the slot occasionally on early downs, targets in fantasy football are worth 2.5 times as much as a carry. So even if he's got a role where he isn't getting a lot of the early down work he's had in years past, if he's pulling 5 to 6 targets a game, that will make him a top 36 running back.
Dave, tell us about Football Guys. It is fantasy football draft season. What can the good folks here in Jacksonville look forward to when they head on over to the website?
At this point, I want to plug the Rate My Team feature that we have. As soon as you are done with your fantasy draft, just type in Rate My Fantasy Football Team, Football Guys Rate My Team, whatever you want to do to find it. We have a tool that doesn't require any input. You just sync it up with your league. It will pull over all of the teams from your league. And not only does it grade your team on an A through F scale, but it'll even look ahead at bye weeks and tell you potential players to pick up on the waiver wire that can help you get ahead of those bye week woes. So it's a tool that we've had for about 10 years now, but this year we've invested a lot into making it bigger and better than ever. And that would be the one thing that I really, really would recommend anybody check out.
He's one of the best. Dave Kluge of Football Guys. Dave, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. Best of luck in all your drafts, and we'll talk again soon, pal.
Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Let's get the work done.
Training camp is here.
Up, quick feet.
1010XL's training camp coverage is backed by Roland Reach Plumbing and Green Acres Sporting Goods.
Go, here we go. Let's go. It's live now. Let's go.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
my debit card.
Their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound, that's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
60 days from now, you'll be one of these two guys. The first guy, sluggish, foggy, and feeling like he just can't keep up like he used to. The second guy, driven, strong, and confident. Why? Male Excel's breakthrough microdosing protocol, a daily low-dose testosterone. You don't have to be the first guy anymore. Be the second guy. Take the same steps he took. Try MaleExcel.com. 100,000 men chose wisely. Your move.
Rock fans, get ready. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs are rolling into the Florida Theater Thursday, August 14th. Founding member of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Mike brings raw rock and roll, killer guitar riffs, and that unmistakable edge. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs.
These are the best of times.
Get your tickets now at floridatheater.com. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, August 14th at Florida Theater.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Again, thank you to Dave Kluge of Football Guys for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark as fantasy football drafts firing up all over the country. Still a little early, admittedly, but like my league is a prime example. We got guys flying in from Houston, driving in from Ocala, driving in from Orlando, all points in between, and we have to coordinate these things. A majority of us now married with children and whatnot. So we always get together the second weekend in August, which will be this Saturday. So we're going to do our fantasy draft on Saturday, and then obviously the Jaguar-Steeler game on Saturday night. I know people try to wait as long as possible. We normally would too if we didn't have people traveling in, but I know people are doing drafts early as well. So I want to bring you Dave Kluge. We'll have Gary Davenport tomorrow from Bleacher Report, another well-respected fantasy football guy. In fact, he's doing a draft this weekend at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, with a lot of other fantasy gurus from around the country. So that'll be pretty cool to get Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report with us here tomorrow night on Hacker After Dark. Much more on the Jaguars and the Steelers tomorrow night as well, but I did want to shift gears briefly and talk about Florida State, the Seminoles. Did you know they were in town today doing a practice? They're actually in town, I believe, tomorrow as well, doing a practice. We are the biggest sports media entity in Jacksonville. I don't think I'm patting ourselves on the back there, Denmark. I mean, we're pretty engrossed in this community with 1010XL, and I would doubt that basically anybody has talked about this because Florida State decided that nobody's going to watch them practice in Jacksonville. They're just going to be over here to bond as a team. Okay. Good luck with that. Would have loved to have been out there to see what Florida State has to offer, but was not given that option. But we will talk a little Florida State football. They open with Alabama 23 days from today. One of our guys over in Tallahassee is Logan Robinson. He is the owner and the founder of NoleGameDay.com, and he joins us next. Let's talk Thomas Castellanos. Let's talk Gus Malzahn. Let's talk job security for Mike Norvell. Let's talk a little Florida State. Logan Robinson of Nole Game Day next, right here on Hacker After Dark.
If your house feels like a Florida swamp and your thermostat's just throwing out suggestions, then it's time to call Duck Duck Air Conditioning.
They showed up fast, fixed it right, and even cleaned up after. My house is finally chilled, and so am I.
Whether your AC needs a quick fix, a full replacement, or just a little TLC, Duck Duck Air Conditioning has got you covered with fast and honest service. Call 904-862-6769 to get your cool back, or online at duckduckac.com. When your AC is stuck, call the Duck.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, or Beaver Mitsubishi in St. Augustine. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Playoff-bound Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are in full swing at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Boy, football season's essentially here, right? The Jaguars and the Steelers Saturday night in the preseason opener. Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL Radio. In the college ranks, camps are open all over the place. And, of course, we are officially less than 3 weeks until week 0 of the college football season. But everybody, including Florida, Florida State, Georgia, and Miami, all play a football game later this month. Let's talk about Florida State. They've been in camp for about a week over there in Tallahassee, and one of our guys when it comes to the Seminoles is Logan Robinson. He is the owner and the founder of Knoll Game Day, and Logan's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Logan, how you doing?
Doing fantastic, in full swing of things. We got FSU fall camp happening, a big season ahead for Mike Norvell in order to keep his job practically. And then we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers training camp down here in Tampa. So we are in full swing of football being back in our lives, and I'm stoked for it.
Yeah, it's a busy time for you, no question about it. Let's start with Florida State, a week into camp. Mike Norvell, you mentioned him there. I mean, a lot of pressure on him, obviously. Logan, what is the feel about Florida State coming into the year? Obviously, 2 new coordinators, a lot of guys out of the transfer portal. What's your thought on the Seminoles as camp is open now?
I think since Thomas Castellanos practically just brought everything up during the offseason of Alabama and them not having Nick Saban, I think it's actually created quite a little stir here, at least in Tallahassee, of some excitement going into this Alabama game. Not only is, yes, a big season ahead for Mike Norvell and trying to keep his job, but this big game ahead of us at the end of the month is going to tell us a lot about what this team looks like. And it might not be a win for Florida State on that Saturday 3:30 kickoff. It's going to be a tough game for them. But overall, Florida State brought in new coordinators, new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator. As we all know, Gus Malzahn. You match that now with Thomas Castellanos. You're hoping to reshape an entire offensive line that was dreadful last year, god awful, honestly. And then you've brought in some guys with production, which was something that lacked immensely in last year's transfer portal class, where FSU graded out as an F as a transfer portal, which was not something that Mike Norvell had done before. He had found tons of success in the transfer portal. That's how he was able to garner a lot of success throughout his early parts at FSU. Now, though, they feel like they've reshaped their transfer portal class along with their recruiting class as well. And, you know, there's a lot of question marks. The media aren't at practices, so it creates a lot of conversations on just some guesses of where some personnel will fit best or who's going to be in your starting unit and such. But, you know, I think there's optimism. You can't have a season like you did last year, obviously. But I think there's some optimism off of some of the new pieces that you brought in that had production at other previous stops, along with some of your new coaching staff members, which we've been hearing some good things of since the beginning of camp last week.
You know, Logan, Castellanos has familiarity with Malzahn. They spent a year together down at UCF. I mean, if you're looking for a quarterback to run Malzahn's offense, Castellanos is a good option. The question is the skill talent around him going to be adequate? Wide receiver, tight end, running back, etc. What's your thought there?
Now, I'm glad you brought up those position groups, because that's specifically when I talk about Florida State not doing a good job in the transfer portal with guys coming in with production. They did not have that last year. They had Malik Benson coming from Alabama, and they had him as their wide receiver one, someone that did not produce at Alabama. And they thought that he would come in and immediately be their star guy, almost like a Keon Coleman or Johnny Wilson type player for them. That just wasn't the case this year, though. They brought in Deuce Robinson from USC, who had previous stats and actually has a really good physical attributes that could fit best with Thomas Castellanos when taking those shots when needed in Gus Malzahn's offense. And then you needed a deep shot guy, and you brought in Squirrel White from Tennessee, who had success there with the Volunteers also, too. Very explosive guy, deep threat ball. That's where you kind of match in there, where your 1 and 2s are at the wide receiver room. And then you go over to the tight end room as well. UCF transfer coming with Gus Malzahn is Randy Pittman, who I think is one of the best gets in the transfer portal for Florida State. A very, very versatile tight end, a guy that can block. He can run routes. He almost can be back there at the H-back position, too, as well. They're going to be using him all across the offense. If you think back, Florida State had Jaheim Bell, who they grabbed from South Carolina. Kind of same in that same regard, Deebo Samuel type, but Randy Pittman's more of a tight end build, I would say, but really good on the line. Also, too, good in the passing game. So that's something where they wanted to match up and put in tandem with Thomas Castellanos and these wide receivers and these tight ends, just to try to build some solidification of this offense. Now, it's also going to be predicated, too, on the run game. That's going to be the big question mark here, and they feel very highly of Gavin Sawchuk, who they brought through the transfer portal from Oklahoma, and then also, too, a true freshman and Usman Kroma, a name that a lot of FSU fans will be hearing of this upcoming season.
Couple more for Logan Robinson. He's the owner and the founder of Knoll Game Day. Logan, on the defensive side of the ball, it was very bad at times last year, and that's putting it mildly. I know a new coaching staff as well. Who are some of the young players Seminole fans should keep their eye on?
Well, there are some younger guys. I would say some that will be in the rotation early on. I'm looking at Kevin Wynn, who is your highest rated recruit coming in through the class, a defensive tackle there in the trenches, now under Terrence Knighton, who was Nebraska's defensive lines coach, coming with Tony White. And then also, too, there's the Desir brothers. They're two twins that are practically the same size, who have just absolutely been weight room junkies, but plus also putting it together on the field. Those three guys, which is huge because my biggest concern of the defense is depth in the trenches outside of Daryl Jackson, KJ Sampson, and Daniel Lyons. You have to have some younger guys step up, and that's where I'm looking at those three, hopefully to be able to jump into that rotation early. Now, if I'm going to go outside of some younger guys and say some that are going to make immediate impacts that FSU fans should be excited for, is probably the linebacker room. I go with Elijah Herring, the Memphis transfer guy. If you're talking stat lines, production, a guy that can get east to west and move fast, it's Elijah Herring. And I think that's in my top three of guys that they brought in overall as a team. And Stephon Thompson is another linebacker, too. That's a new addition coming with Tony White. He was at Syracuse with him, then went to Nebraska. He's a really, really good, I would say more of an experienced linebacker that is just going to help a lot and going to be in that rotation early on for FSU this upcoming season on that defensive side of the ball. But yeah, you're right. There was a lot of concerns last year, a lot of lack in effort, and I think that's something that has to see a massive flip under Tony White in his first season.
Logan, as we wrap up, Florida State 2-10. It was a nightmare last year. You follow the team as closely as anybody. I mean, what's realistic? I mean, is 8-4 realistic? Is 9-3 realistic, or should expectations be tempered a little bit?
I'm in more of the 6 to 8 range. I think 8 is the ceiling for you. If this team does get to 8 wins, then you feel really good about moving forward with the coordinators that you brought in, the new personnel staff, and feel good just overall with Mike Norvell. It was very scary last year, I'll say, Ryan, just watching Mike Norvell's demeanor. I just felt like he just didn't know what was going on. He was just absolutely shocked as much as we were, and as that's the fact, he didn't seem like he understood what things were going on behind the scenes. That's what scared me a little bit. Now, I mean, it's a new season. You try to reset everything from last year, and you expect for Florida State to hopefully not lose to teams that they definitely should not be losing to. But the biggest thing to me is, leadership, accountability, guys that are going to step up for this team and step up and be leaders for them. I mean, there was no one last year that was going to do that. Patrick Payton wasn't going to do that off the edge. Marvin Jones Jr. for sure, absolutely was not going to do that. And also, too, DJU. I mean, that was just not going to be the case whatsoever. Florida State has to find leaders. That's something that Mike Norvell, I think, immediately once that season ended, had to go out there and find guys that were going to step up to the plate. He brought in a guy like Thomas Castellanos, Deuce Robinson, who's been a really good person in the locker room, from what I've heard. And we hopefully see steps from guys that you weren't really expecting to be leaders, but Daryl Jackson, who is supposed to be one of your star players going into this upcoming season. Can he be a game-wrecking unit? Can he actually step up and also be a vocal guy and and hold accountability for himself and others? We'll see, but I think that 6 to 8 range is where I'm feeling going into this upcoming season, but 8 wins is not going to be easy whatsoever.
Logan, we're out of time. Quickly, not only are you with Knoll Game Day, but obviously you're the owner and the founder of Bucks Game Day. 30 seconds. What's going on with Baker Mayfield's hand?
Well, it's crazy. I was on the sideline watching. I noticed that Baker Mayfield was not taking first-team reps. Kyle Trask was in there, so I monitored him, was watching him, and he had a rag around his hand, and it seemed like he dinged it off of a pass that he hit on a helmet. I think he's fine since then. He's been out there. He's been hands-on and everything. Nothing even is on his hand, no bandage, no brace or anything. Todd Bowles told us on, I believe it was Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, he said that he is going to be back full go, ready to go for camp, so I'm expecting for him to be a participant going into this week with the Tennessee Titans coming into town, and Cam Ward should be pretty fun.
Tell Seminole fans, Logan, about Knoll Game Day and the coverage you guys will have as camp goes on there in Tallahassee.
Yeah, Ryan, we got tons of stuff at KnollGameDay.com. We also go live once or twice a week on our YouTube at Knoll Game Day there. Tons of content, interviews, practice quotes, everything, etc. So getting you guys all prepped up for Florida State this upcoming season.
Logan Robinson, the owner and the founder of both Knoll Game Day on the college front and Bucks Game Day in the National Football League. Logan, thank you for the time. We'll do it again right before Florida State and Alabama.
Perfect. Thanks, Ryan.
And thank you to Logan Robinson, the owner and the founder of Knoll Game Day, for joining us here tonight on Hacker After Dark, talking a little Florida State. The Seminoles are over here in Jacksonville. They practice today. They'll do so again tomorrow, getting ready for obviously their opener on August 30th against Alabama. Logan's also the owner and the founder of Bucks Game Day, so we talked a little bit about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield banged up a little bit in practice. Should be okay, though, obviously, by the time the regular season rolls around. So we spent some time on that, but as you can imagine, a majority of the time was spent on the Jacksonville Jaguars. They wrapped up their final practice, at least it's open to the media, prior to Saturday's preseason opener against Pittsburgh. Liam Cohen did announce earlier today that everybody will play that is able to play, including obviously Trevor Lawrence. Don't know how long the starters are go, but he also did say that Travis Hunter will indeed play on both sides of the ball Saturday night against Pittsburgh, which obviously will add a lot more intrigue there to preseason game number 1. Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL with pregame coverage beginning Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very, very busy Thursday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Logan Robinson, the owner and the founder of Knoll and Bucks Game Day. Always appreciate Logan's time. Thank you to Dave Kluge of Football Guys. It's that time of year. Fantasy football leagues and fantasy football drafts are starting up all over the place. Appreciate Dave Kluge of Football Guys for joining us tonight, giving us a little insight on how some of the early fantasy football drafts around the country are going. We also had Jared Bailey of the Sporting News previewing the Jaguars and the Steelers. Thank you to Jared Bailey. And then finally, our training camp one-on-ones with linebacker Chad Muma and with defensive back Antonio Johnson, as both guys are preparing for the Steelers on Saturday night. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Friday to close out the week, and we will do it all over again here on Hacker After Dark beginning at 8 o'clock, and we do hope that you join us then. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I am the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Thursday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have a terrific remainder of your Thursday evening, and we will talk to you again to close out the week tomorrow night on a Friday beginning at 8 o'clock.
Former Jags middle linebacker Tom McManus brings up grit to the ladies of helmets and heels.
You do it as tough as it is possible to do.
Catch the new look helmets and heels afternoons 2 to 4.
And you do that in all things.
On 1010XL.
I'll be honest with you, it is because of Beards that I felt so confident getting down on one knee because I knew she would love the ring.
Jacksonville native Dr. Aryan Afshari talking about the engagement ring he got from Beards Diamonds.
I spent everything I had on that ring, so I really wanted it to be an awesome ring.
Dr. Afshari loved the fact that at Beards, nobody's on commission. In fact, they even showed him how he could get the look he wanted and spend less than he budgeted.
There was a bigger diamond and a nicer diamond that I